Now, peripheral IVs don't last long. They generally have to be replaced every 3 to 4 days to avoid infection or inflammation, and oftentimes they just come out around that time. But remember, even though we're replacing them often, peripheral IVs are thought to account for about 23% of bloodstream infections, so still consider taking them out if they're not needed. Now, temporary central lines are more secure, so they can last longer in theory. But remember that the longer they're in, the higher that risk of infection and blood clots, so still try to take them out as soon as you don't need them anymore. Okay, so what if you need a line for a few weeks, like, a patient being discharged on IV antibiotics? Well, here we're often thinking about midlines, which are recommended for a week or two, or PICC lines, which can last several weeks. But which one of those are we going to use? Now, historically, we've gone with a PICC anytime we need more than just a few days of antibiotics. But there was actually a recent study that found midlines to be a safe alternative when you need antibiotics for up to 2 weeks. I mean, that's great. There's less complications with midlines. We'd love to be able to use them. Just keep in mind that midlines did have a higher rate of occlusion in that trial. And also, some antibiotics like vancomycin actually have a higher complication rate with midlines. So for medications like that, you probably still need to use a PICC. Are you still not sure exactly which catheter to use, midlines or PICCs? Well, there's this awesome guide called the Michigan Appropriateness Guide for Intravenous Catheters, or MAGIC, that can help you decide what catheter to use depending on your clinical scenario. Okay, so that's a good start, but what if our patient needs a catheter for longer than that? I mean, think about people who need chemotherapy every few weeks or who need regular blood draws. I mean, we know keeping a central line in longer and longer increases the risk of things like clot and infection. So what do we do for these patients? Well, in cases like this, we can reduce the risk of infection by actually tunneling part of the catheter under the skin. These are called tunneled lines. There's tunneled central lines and tunneled dialysis catheters. Finally, some people need a catheter for a long time, like years. This is when we use things called totally implantable venous access devices, where the whole catheter is under the skin. These are more commonly called ports. Here's a summary of all the types of catheters we talked about today, and this is going to be available in the show notes for you to look at later. The fifth and last thing to consider is whether there are any patient-related factors that can make certain types of IVs contraindicated. Some of these are a little bit more straightforward. Avoid putting a catheter in an area of skin abnormality, like over a rash or infection, and try to avoid abnormal blood vessels. Like, I wouldn't recommend putting a catheter in a blood vessel that has a blood clot or a fistula. Next, if the patient has a history of mastectomy and lymph node dissection, putting an IV in the same side is thought to increase the risk of lymphedema. Newer studies suggest that risk might be lower than we thought, although more studies are needed here. If someone has a bloodstream infection, all those catheters become a nidus for infection. So definitely avoid putting in any longer lines like a midline or central line, and talk to your infectious team about probably changing out any current IVs. Finally, we have patients with chronic kidney disease. Now, in these patients, their arm veins are precious because we may need them to create a fistula or graft later. So we can really only put peripheral IVs in the arms because other catheters could cause more damage to the veins. So if you have a patient with chronic kidney disease who may need a central catheter, you may need to place it elsewhere, and always check with your renal team. Let's close out with some common clinical scenarios. As we go through, I want you to think about what type of IV you'd use. Let's say we have a patient who needs rapid resuscitation, septic shock, hemorrhagic shock. We need fluids in quickly. What type of IV are you using? You want an IV that's short and wide to minimize friction on the wall, to increase flow rate, and to get fluids into your patient. The specific IV might vary, but a peripheral IV that's 16 or 18 gauge might be a good one to choose. Okay, now your page that phlebotomy has tried time and time again, and they just can't get blood on your patient. They're asking you for a type of catheter for this. What are you going to choose? While sometimes a midline is able to draw blood, generally a central line is needed if we need to consistently be able to get blood from a patient using a catheter. Again, only use this if you really can't draw blood. Okay, your patient's post-op, they can't eat, it's been a long time, you're going to need to give TPN. What type of catheter are they going to need? We're going to need a central line here again. TPN has a super high osmolarity, so it's really irritating to peripheral veins. Okay, you have a patient with stage 4 chronic kidney disease on the floor on the internal medicine service. They can't keep a peripheral IV in. It just keeps falling out. They need more stable access, what are you going to get them? Oftentimes you're doing a midline or PICC here, but in a patient with chronic kidney disease, that's generally not an option because we have to preserve those arm veins in case they need dialysis later. So we try to avoid a central line as best we can, try ultrasound-guided IVs, but if ultimately they really need a central line, often that temporary central line has to go somewhere other than their arms. Okay, your next patient, no chronic kidney disease this time. They need about 2 more weeks of ceftriaxone after they leave the hospital. Case management's calling, we're planning to discharge them tomorrow. How are you planning to give them that ceftriaxone? Like we said before, for a patient who needs a few weeks of treatment, it's the great midline versus PICC debate. For this patient who just needs 2 weeks of treatment, they're on ceftriaxone, a midline might be appropriate. You can talk to your IV and ID team to help you make the decision if you're unsure. Your final patient for the day is just starting treatment for cancer. They're going to need blood draws and treatment for weeks to months to maybe years. How are they going to get that done? Yeah, to lower the risk of complications for this patient's catheter, we may want it to go partially under the skin so it lasts weeks to months, or completely under the skin so it lasts months to years. So the next time your patient needs a new catheter, remember the 5 factors we talked about here today. By determining the right length, width, and number of lumens of that catheter, how long you're going to need it for, and whether there are any contraindications to placing it, you'll be on your way to picking the right catheter for your patient.